5:01, we'll go ahead and get started. Everybody rise, remove your hats, we'll sing the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for attending tonight's meeting. It is Tuesday, April the 9th. I'm sorry, that's the agenda. Today is Tuesday, May 14th, 5 p.m. We'll begin this evening's meeting. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from our meeting on Tuesday, April the 9th. Do you have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make that motion. I've read the minutes and couldn't find no errors, everything that seemed to.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. I'll pass this around. Heather is not here. She's out of the country. And then, Chris had a family emergency, a medical emergency that he had to, So he excused himself, so he needed to attend that. So apologies for the chitting here. So the next item on the agenda is Judy Tarpanini. How are you, Judy?
I'm great, how are you?
Good. She's here from the library this evening and she's going to talk about the appointment of Kathy Rosenberg.
Yeah. There should be a document there, yes, I did fill out the top because I knew Heather wasn't here. Heather was
Correct.
be signing that, so this would be Kathy's fourth term, which would be her final term, so.
Okay.
So if you're amenable, we would like to continue, she is willing to continue for another time.
That's awesome. Anyone have any questions about the reappointment of Kathy to this position? No
I
questions?
think it's a great nominee.
All right, we'll go ahead with that, motions to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve that Catherine Rosenberg be appointed back to the board.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Like, okay. Do you want me to go ahead and do this, or would you?
Yeah, just fill out the top with your name on it and then you sign it. And I believe we just send it directly with her tonight.
Yeah.
Second item on the agenda, and I don't believe I see Libby here.
I do not either.
Okay, so we'll pass on that one. And then, we have Heather on the agenda and she's going to update us on the Dossett Consulting.
Yes, so I was just going to update you guys that every year I always request $5,000 for my Dossett consulting fee. And this year they just wrapped up the cost allocation plan for 2022. And they were able to recoup $63,493.98 of federally reimbursed child support expenses. So, I definitely think we need to keep them around. They're definitely worth the contact. The second thing that I had is I would appreciate your support in creating a policy for the auditor's office. We have recently been getting requests for advanced draws on settlement funds. After talking to State Board of Accounts, they said that the language doesn't necessarily protect any subdivision of how many times a advance can be requested. So we are receiving monthly requests now, but it is up to the auditor's office as to what percentage we distribute at. So we just have to distribute less than 95% of what we have on the tax collections at that point. So our first I'm proposing that from now on, our first request for an advance, we would do at 75%. And any following, during that tax collection cycle would just be at 5%. Because we don't know, what the effect of future CEs or State Board of Account fees or anything to a political subdivision would be.
And that's pertaining to the email that you sent to us this afternoon,
Yes.
correct?
So, with your permission, I was just gonna have you guys approve that tonight and pass it around, just showing support of my policy.
Was everyone able to read that email that she sent this afternoon? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the policy, the language that she would,
I'll make that motion.
okay, I think it's a good idea. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so approved.
And then if you guys just wanna pass one around, I think I gave you one on your desk. You just pass it around, then everyone could have that.
You want us to go ahead and sign it for you?
Yeah, so that I have one on file, just showing that I have support in that. My biggest concern would be cash balances and how that could affect county functioning, so.
All right, anything else? You wanted to go ahead and do additional transfers and,
Yeah, we can do that. So the only thing we have is an additional, and it's for the animal shelter, and it's actually for animal shelter donations. So it'll be account number 21120, general shelter supplies, in the amount of $22,334.60.
Mhm.
And then account number 11270, rabies/general medical, in the amount of $4,456.92.
How are they, the animal shelter looking, I mean, as far as a whole?
So we are doing okay right now. We have not received, contributions from any other units at this point. So we are solely funding it on our own.
We got handled.
We did get handovers.
We got handled.
Okay, so we
Oh,
got
good.
handovers, but
Madison.
Madison has not contributed yet. And, so donations are very important for these extras that we're doing right now.
And, as far as Madison, they're contributing, when? That's really far behind, isn't it?
Yeah, so typically I send out an invoice at the beginning of the year to start that, and then different units, sometimes they pay me quarterly, since we don't really have an interlocal at this point in time.
Could we send them another invoice?
Yeah, I can send another one. The other thing that I worry about is we are currently being audited by the State Board of Accounts. And they questioned me, about how we were going to cover the budget if we did not have an interlocal. So I think it's very important that everyone works together and gets with the city and gets that going.
They haven't had a new interlocal since 2007.
Right, 2007 was the last one, and then, it was dissolved in 22.
What's the process for that? Do we just get together with Bob and?
Commissioners. get together
Commissioners
with
do.
With the city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that they're trying to work on something in that regards. So. All right, sorry, I just
So,
wanted to kind of
those-
bring that
Yeah,
to light and kind of get it out there.
no, you're
Okay.
fine. So that is our only additional,
Okay,
and if I could have a motion for that.
a motion,
Make a motion for that additional.
Second.
all in favor?
Okay, and then just for the formality, then we have resolution 2024-007 to approve. I need a motion to approve that resolution in the amount of $26,791.52.
So is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion, we approve that. I'll second it.
All right, ready? All those in favor?
And if you could just pass that around, Pam, you have a copy to over.
Oh, okay, this
Right
one
there.
here,
Yeah,
okay.
that
I was
one.
like, what's my notes?
No, not your notes. And then I am.
Yeah.
Good.
We should go over next to you.
That's okay. All right, that being the last transfer, an additional appropriations, we don't have anything else on our agenda, so are there any public comments? Anyone has for us this evening? Warren?
I don't know the particulars because all I have is your notice for executive session, but I understand you're having an executive session joint with the commissioners following this meeting.
That is correct.
And that executive session was advertised to meet with industrial or commercial prospects to have negotiations or interviews as such. And I only have concerns because there has been some thought process or talk in the community that part of those discussions are going to center around council's willingness to give tax abatements for various green energy projects and so forth. And I get very concerned that it's a little bit of a stretch, putting that under negotiations and interviews with these prospects. If we're discussing whether or not we want to give tax abatements, I realize there's many steps that we'll have to follow. You have to have a public hearing and so forth. But I prefer to see as much of that held publicly versus discussions being held behind closed doors as such. So that is a concern. And because I've sat in on executive sessions of my own, have been involved in, and they have a way of expanding beyond what they were advertised for as such on the such. So, if it's necessary for interviews and negotiations with industrial, commercial, I understand that. I run businesses and understand there's some things that companies don't want to discuss publicly. Whether or not the county is willing to give a tax abatement or not, I'm not certain where that's a need to exclude it from the public.
Thank you. Anyone else? Rhonda?
No, I'm good.
Well, she pointed me right out, did you?
Oh, well. Anybody else? So with that,
Well,
yeah,
does anyone, commissioners, or Brian, information on the ready grants? That was in the paper today. Anybody fill us in on that?
Yeah, so it's still not a real clear process to me yet. So the region got $45 million. They, yesterday noon, they put up the website where applications will be made. They just said, okay, everybody just put in your applications. I know before they even, during the first phase, they had well over $150 million of requests in the region. We got 45 million. There's gotta be projects that they know that they're not gonna consider. But they haven't told us what those are. At least I haven't seen anything. Since what it is. So it seems like there's gonna be some unnecessary work that we're gonna be doing. So, the proposed requests are due, you remember, till July 12th? Yeah, so we got a couple months to get them done. It's gonna be an all online process. And then they're gonna take a week or two to review them and then score them.
Do you happen to know on the 7 counties, correct? Five counties.
Mhm.
Is that gonna be evenly distributed or do they do it by
No.
project?
No, they have, well, go ahead. I'm sorry, Jack. Yeah, no, it won't be evenly distributed, and they're taking, what they said all along, is they're taking a regional approach. A project that might be great for Jefferson County might not be good for the region, so it may not get funded. Vice versa for Clark or Florida, those counties too, they're trying to find things that'll be good for the 5-county region.
Okay.
So some things that we're putting in for, I look at them, I think that's not gonna benefit the region, but if they know that, I wish they'd throw them out so we don't waste our time waiting, but they haven't yet, so.
and when did they think that, I know when we initially went over to Ivy Tech and they thought that there was gonna be some distribution of those funds, Was that in July,
No,
August?
August, I think, August. And then they've got some other, for you there, Tony, what, they gotta get ready one money distributed before, sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, no,
but
you're
I
fine.
can't remember
No,
the numbers exactly.
the state's not gonna release Ready Two money until percentage of Ready One money is.
65%.
65% is issued from the region.
Mm-hmm.
We have a number of large projects within the region, not here in the county, but a number of other counties that we haven't gotten to that point yet. So depending on when those projects get to that 65% is when the state will release that money. So at this point, we don't know whether that's August.
That's just the trigger.
That's the trigger.
And it doesn't sound like the money's at risk.
The money's not at risk, but they're
Just they're not gonna let us.
encouraging Ready One projects to be complete. Before folks start, working on
Gotcha.
Ready Two.
Okay.
Would we be able to negotiate with other counties for this or talk to other county officials in the neighboring counties? about-
You can always talk to them, but ultimately the decisions.
You're in competition with them.
Right, right, but
I mean, ultimately, it's the regional development authority that'll make those
Sure.
5 appointments. My advice would be to work with our local representative as best as we can. He's our advocate,
Mhm.
hopefully there on that five-person board and
talk about Alex Everett.
And Kevin's still.
No.
on that.
Kevin.
Kevin Keller.
Kevin.
Thank you.
Sorry, I couldn't give you more detail, but it's,
It is fuzzy.
yeah, it's not a straightforward process.
Don't worry about it, you were clear as mud.
That was my goal. Can't nail me down. We did better than other regions. What region, Mercer County, they got 10 million, so 45 million was the most granted to any region.
4 regions got that,
Yeah.
maximum amount, and we were lucky to be one of them.
It's good to see you here.
Glad to be here. Good to see you. That's why I came.
Well, I figured you. I was like, here.
I thought you came to harass me.
And that,
So thank you guys for coming. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'm gonna make that motion.
It's a quick meeting.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.